こんにちは。
こんにちは。
Welcome back to another one of our English speaking videos on the channel. Today we're gonna think retrospectively about what we wish we did or what our parents did while we were abroad in international schools. So if you could just quickly introduce your educational background.
Sure. Hi, I'm Lisa. I went to 4 different international schools throughout my life in Brazil, Brunei, the Solomon Islands, and El Salvador.
Yeah, I went to an international school in Japan, British International School Tokyo, until I was 9. And I went to a British International School in Phuket, Thailand. And then did 2 years of university in America. And then transferred to ICU in Japan. That's where we both attended university. She graduated last year.
Yep.
I'm transferring to Sophia as a 3rd-year student and will be continuing my bachelor's there. But the first thing that comes to mind is I do regret not putting more effort into my Japanese.
I agree with that 100%.
What should you have done?
I think it's a case-by-case thing, but my dad did try to put me into Hoshuko, which is the Saturday school for Japanese learning, basically. But that didn't work for me, and my dad basically took the issue into his own hands and just kept speaking Japanese to me at home, and that's how I could kind of learn Japanese, but only listening and speaking. So what I wish I did was study kanji and reading and stuff like that through a different resource other than Hoshuko.
So on this video, I'm not looking for diplomatic answers. I want you to be, the brute truth. So what do you mean it didn't work for me, Hoshuko? What does that mean?
I just didn't want to go to school on a Saturday. I felt like the weekend was the weekend. I just want to have fun with my friends and family. Enjoy being abroad in this new country.
So
have fun.
Yeah, so juku is such a big culture in Japan. People go to school Monday through Friday, and then they go to school on Saturday. That is not a thing abroad. And so I'm glad that my mom never even thought about putting me into juku or Hoshuko. And even if she did try, I would have definitely not done it because all my friends would be like, what are you doing on a Saturday morning?
It's not cool is what everybody thought.
And that is a surefire way to get your kids not to want to study Japanese. The last thing an 8-year-old or 9-year-old wants to do is study Japanese, right? Japanese student going to an international school, you kind of do start to think, why do I even need Japanese when English will get me by in life? I never need Japanese unless I'm in Japan. Going to a Saturday school will just fuel that fire to not want to study Japanese even more. And so I think that it is essential to think of different ways to help maintain your Japanese proficiency. So I think your dad did a good job in the sense that he stayed a little bit more strict about manners or referring to him as otosan or all those things. My mom was way too lenient to the point where my Japanese was gone by the time I was 20 years old. But obviously, that's not that deep because you can come back in university and restudy again. I'm 21 years old and for the first time in my life I'm studying Japanese, and it's a lot easier to pick it back up. And so I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I'd say I wish my mom talked to me more about Japanese politics or
100%,
Japanese history, because those are things that you don't learn in international school, right? History class is more Eurocentric, unless you're learning specifically about the Aztecs or at least that's what I learned in history. Or the Mao Chinese. Those things that at the dinner table, just a couple of conversations, I think would have motivated me to be I want to learn more. Why is Japan like this, and what's Japanese international relations like, stuff like that. So that's one thing. Definitely not going to Hoshu school. Hoshu? What is it?
Hoshuko.
Hoshuko. And thinking of different ways to still speak Japanese on a daily basis. I think you were lucky because they offered second language Japanese in school, in high school.
Oh yeah, I was definitely lucky.
I didn't, so...
yeah, it's still a long way from being global, having Japanese schools or Japanese classes in school. Yeah.
The ideal scenario, I wish I did have second language Japanese at my high school, but I wouldn't take back anything from my experience in Phuket, Thailand, because I had a great time and I learned Spanish as a second language, and I want to continue studying that in the future. So I guess we have not going to Saturday school, still having opportunities to speak Japanese and learning about culture, history, politics. I think having the second language Japanese option available out of school, now that's kind of out of your control, but that is something you might want to think about when putting your kids into an international school. For me, my mom would give me a doriru to do, and obviously a 9-year-old boy is not gonna want to do that, and so I wish I had like a specific method that would have motivated me. So what I use now is this app called Anki, and this app has been a lifesaver for me because it really maximizes my time and in terms of efficiency. So I just want to quickly show the people watching what this is like. So
why don't you screen record your...
No, it's okay. This is funny. So that says Zygai, and then living abroad. If you hit show answer, it'll tell me the answer right here, and then it has again, hard, and good, easy. So if I hit again, the card will come back again in 10 minutes. If I hit good, it's gonna come back again in 1 hour, and if I hit easy, it's gonna come up in 2 days. And so the app brings back vocab when you're just about to forget it. So I know the word now. In 2 days time I might not. No, in 2 days time, when I'm just about to forget it, it comes back and reminds me, and if I get it wrong, then I have to start that cycle all over again. So this app has been very good for me in terms of language acquisition, and I'm using it to study other things geography or Japanese history and stuff. That's just an app that I would recommend for Japanese learners, because kanji is I think it's essential to learn it by steps, like gakunen goto ni. And so now that I'm trying to learn all of it all together, it's very difficult. And so an app like this, I could if I started it earlier, it would have been easier to my progress would have been a lot more cumulative. How do you wish that you had studied Japanese while you were in school? Because I love Anki, and I've tried many times to put Lisa on Anki, and to no avail.
No, but when I was in school, I have to be honest, we didn't have the technology we have today, and we didn't always have our own phone and stuff like that. So I guess in terms of learning, you just need to have a good community of people to do it with, whether that's watching a YouTube video or Japanese TV with the subtitles on a few times a week, or
every kid has the likes and dislikes, and so finding what works for them is very important. So I thought it was just nice to be able to show what I'm using to learn Japanese, because it might inspire somebody or give them an idea as to what they like. I actually disagree with what you said about not having technology in school, because I had my own laptop when I was 9 years old. I could have studied on my own if I wanted to, but I just didn't have the motivation or know what I know the best way to study.
No, I think motivation is a really big thing, because when you're at an international school, you're just don't really care much about where you come from. You're just there with
a bunch of other people and a bunch
diverse
of different
people.
I agree.
But for example, going to International Day and dressing up as a Japanese, it kind of felt weird, because I didn't know anything about Japanese history, anything like that, but I'm still kind of representing Japan. So some kind of motivation had to be there for me to start you know, learning about the country and the culture, and then obviously the language.
That's another thing that we can add to that. Helping your kid find the best way to be motivated to study Japanese, whether it be apps or watching films or whatever. I think that apps is very essential because, you know, in this day and age, everyone has access to technology, and so it's definitely, I would rather use the Anki app than like a Doriru. And I think most kids will feel the same. And I think one last thing for me is, I don't think you had this problem, but I did. I was so fixated on going to university abroad, I didn't even think about coming back to Japan. But I think that it is, you should at least suggest the idea to your kids, because as international students, you really have an advantage in that you're like a fluent native English speaker. And so once you graduate university in Japan, the job market is, you have a competitive advantage in the job market.
Yeah.
You work full-time in Japan after graduation.
Right after graduation. Like, you don't have to do any like long-term internships after you graduate just to get a job, you know, like the Japanese new graduate system is quite helpful to, yeah.
Like all my friends
Great.
graduated university in Europe, but they can't find jobs. They have to find internships and get job experience before they can work full-time. But because of the shukatsu system in Japan, you were able to find a full-time job straight away after graduation. You get to work in a foreign company where the Shanai Gengo, the official company language is English.
Pretty much everything I learned up to, you know, the end of university. So English, Japanese, and then some extra languages just in case. And
you can always also, like, you know, try to transfer abroad because you do have that English ability. And so, just because you come back, like, as a Japanese student going to an international school abroad, I think the last thing you want to do is go to university in Japan. But I really think it's a good option in terms of money, in terms of safety, and reintegrating back into the Japanese culture. And on top of that, thinking about your future after university, where you can work for a foreign company in Japan, get a good pay, and like you can.
It's a good start, you know.
I'm so glad I transferred from the American university, and I plan on graduating with my bachelor's in Japan. So that's another thing. I mean, I would list everything that we talked about, but I kind of forgot everything, and the video is dragging on. So thank you for watching the video.
Thank you.
Please comment anything in the comment section below if you want us to talk about. It can be in English or Japanese. If it's in Japanese, then we're gonna have to rethink like, you know, like who's gonna show up in the video? Because usually on the other videos on this channel, like when I do the Japanese interviews, I just let the other person speak, and I'm just like, so the next. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。